YouTube, what's going on? Appreciate y'all watching my videos. What's going on? What's going on? So, as the title says, I had to evict a tenant yesterday. I was gonna do a live video yesterday, but I don't know. I don't think it was appropriate, so I didn't do it. So I didn't do it. Wait for some people to get in here. Hopefully this live stream working good. So, as far as I'm concerned, I think the eviction was a success. It was a success. Depending on how you look at it, for me, it was a success. I think I got a bad signal. See if I can get a better signal here. Ain't nobody coming in. Trying to make sure this video working. Ain't nobody coming in the video. 3 people. That's all I get. But anyway, let me go ahead. So I was going to do a live stream yesterday during that whole debacle. I called it a debacle. It's a debacle. And I don't know. I didn't think it was appropriate. So loud and clear? Okay. So through that whole debacle, I didn't think it was appropriate to do a live yesterday, so I'm doing one today. You know, this is my channel. I like to share with y'all some things. So not everything I share with y'all, but I'm sharing with y'all this. So I had a tenant. Who y'all remember them? If y'all go back in my videos and you go back through my catalog, I showed y'all when I bought this property right here. I bought this property, right? I showed y'all through the process. I rehabbed the property. You know, I fixed it up. See, I redone the cabinets here. It looks good. If you go back through my videos, you'll find the pictures before and after when I bought this property, and I rehabbed it a little bit. It's just a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, you know, easy property. Yeah, man, it's clean, simple, you know. I got a new stove, dishwasher, refrigerator. You know, I picked these appliances up last year when I was working on the place. I think altogether, I spent like $900 on these appliances. Not a bunch of money, you know. I picked this refrigerator up. It was like $400. The stove, $100. I think that stove was $250. We got the dishwasher. That dishwasher was like $200. And yeah, it was about $1,000. Lowe's? No, I went to Sears. I went to Sears Outlet. That's the best place to go to get appliances, in my opinion. You can go to other places. You can go to Appliance Liquidators. You can go to Appliance Smart. I'm talking about in Atlanta. There's a lot of places you can get discount appliances, but I put a new water heater. New AC system. See, new AC system. New water heater. I picked this water heater up. It was I think it was like $220. This is the same water heater that's selling Home Depot, but I found a contractor's liquidators appliance place. They sell all kind of, it's a scratch and dent, but you know, it works, you know. It's a scratch and dent, but the only thing with it, it had like a little dent down here on the bottom. That was it. It's like a little dent right here on the bottom. So you ain't gonna see that. It's a water heater. Let me show y'all. See right here, there's like a little dent. Other than that, the water heater holds water, keeps the water, it makes hot water. Who cares, right? I put it in myself. It's easy. So I know some of y'all would spend $1,500, $2,000 to put in a water heater. You don't gotta do that. You just disconnect these pipes right here, run the electrical. Easy. It's electric water heater. Now, if it was gas, I mean, dealing with gas, you might want to call a professional, but so I put that in there. I pretty much did a lot of the work myself. So I put the AC system in here. I did everything. Believe it or not, put a new electric box per code. You got to know what the code is. I mean, you pretty much replace everything like it was, right? It's not new construction. And yeah, I painted it. Put a new roof on. Now, I didn't put the roof on here. That's a lot of work. I paid a company. It was like, it was about $3,000. It was like $2,900 for a new roof on this place. Got a 20-year warranty. Who cares, right? Nothing special. So I put tile down. See the tile? It's a kind of tile that looks, yeah, it's a townhome condo situation. No association fees, which is great. It's very hard to find a condo townhome that doesn't have association fees, because a lot of these places, you gotta, when they're attached like that, you know, you co-mingling the building, so it's you know, but this one doesn't have no association. Um, I got another one down the street. If y'all go back on my videos, you'll see it. But if you look down the street, I don't know if y'all can see that, but I have another one. I have another one down the street. I never had any problems at that tenant. You know, she pays the rent. That's all I want. Just pay the rent. I don't care. Just pay the rent. You know, as long as you don't cause trouble, have the police over there, pay the rent. Just pay the rent. That's all I care. But yeah, so I had to get rid of the last lady because she wasn't paying the rent. She ain't paid the rent in 2 months. So I've been working with her. I've been trying to work with her for the last 3 months. So we've been going back and forth, back and forth. You know, we had the court involved. We had the judges involved. Finally, I had to get evicted. So that's how that went down. So, but yeah, so it ain't that bad. It ain't no holes in the wall. The floor ain't tore up. See this tile? This is tile that looks like wood. The tile that looked like wood. So, this is tile that looks like wood. So, but yeah, the property is good. She still got some stuff left over in here. She got a whole bunch of stuff outside. The sheriff said I gotta leave it out there for 24 hours to give her a chance to come get it. I don't think she's gonna get that stuff. So there's bags of stuff. She had a bed outside. There was a bed outside. There was a dining room table. Some people came and got that stuff. Some people came and got that stuff. So that's right, man. Does the tenant know you're the owner? Yeah. Yeah, she know I'm the owner. I mean, I only have a few properties, so I don't, right now, I don't think it makes sense to get a property management company at this point. When I get up to like 5, 10 properties, then I'll look into getting a property management company. But at this point, the numbers don't make sense at this point. The numbers don't make sense. When it gets to a point where it's too much that I want to deal with, then I'll go ahead and get a property management. But when I only have a few properties, it don't make sense. So, but yeah, it looks good. I mean, it's the bathroom, there go me. And everything looks good. No holes in the wall. Everything works. The AC works. The AC works. Let me turn this around. Okay, I want to go up here and check a look at the AC unit up here. Okay, but here's the air handler up in the attic. So I put this new system in here. I paid I forgot how much I paid, but I put a new return duct. And I put this duct right here, and I just ran the new duct to the old existing duct because that part was already there. And so I just ran that duct all the way down, and that's all I did. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, but I didn't want to pay an AC contractor to do it. So I figured, I saved a bunch of money. I think if I go back and look at the receipts, I probably spent about $1,500 altogether on parts and stuff. So y'all know me, I don't like paying nobody. So this unit, the air handler unit, this was I think it was like $500 or $600. The condenser unit outside, I think that was like $800. And you got to get a line set. You got to buy a line set. That's $150 for the line set. I had to buy some ducts, pipes and doohickeys and whatnot. I had to get a new 220 line. This is a 220 line that goes up to that box right there. It's a 220 line. And you just got to run the line set all the way. You run the line set, and it goes to the back of the house back there, and it goes down outside to the condenser. So yeah, man, that's how we did that. Now, I'm a licensed HVAC contractor, so I had to pay a guy to come and test it out and put Freon in it. So I paid a guy. It was about $400 or $500 he charged me, and this was my first time doing a total like HVAC overhaul. Like I replaced a condenser before, the outside unit. That unit right there, the outside unit, I've done that before. But I've never done a whole system before. So it's a brand new unit. So I probably get about 10, 15 years out of this system, hopefully. 10, 15, 20 years out of it. So hopefully, and that's what you want. You want a property that's strong and durable to where it can handle a turnover with different tenants. So that's why I put tile down. I talked to some other landlords because I'm in a group of like landlords and real estate investors and stuff like that. So we all like talk, right? So I talk to these guys and they're like, man, in the bathrooms, I put oil-based paint in the bathrooms, in the kitchens, because oil-based paint is real durable. And so all you gotta do is wipe it down real good between tenants. You don't have to worry about repainting and stuff. And a lot of these guys, they put down tile. So we got nice tile. All you gotta do is just sweep up. All you gotta do is sweep up. Every time a tenant moves out, you just sweep up and put a new tenant in here. So I've been taking applications and stuff. So hopefully by the 1st of August, I have a new tenant in here. Once you have a property available, they rent quick. You don't have to worry about it. They rent quick. These properties don't sit long. So my phone been blowing up ever since I put it out there. So it's they rent quick. Like right after the eviction I did yesterday when the lady moved out, I had a showing right behind that. I didn't want to show it, but at the same time, I told her, last like, well, somebody just moved out, but if you want to come by and look, she came by and looked. She was like, yeah, okay, yeah. She walked around. I mean, it's messy, but I told her, it's like, we're going to clean it up, you know, so don't worry about that. So, but yeah, you gotta fix your properties up to where they're gonna these properties keep making you money. That's the point. You wanna fix these properties up to where they keep making you money. So, all together, I paid $40,000 for this place. All together, I put about $13,000 in it. And I did a lot of the work myself. So I painted, I did all the paint work. See the molding, see that white trim, all that? I did all that. I put the tile down. See the nice shiny tile, put the tile down. I put the AC unit in here. I did I redid a whole lot of stuff. I put this light up here. The light that they had up here was a old like fluorescent light. It goes straight across like that. The long ones, I took that down and I put this up here. It just looks nicer, more modern look. So, and so you got this light here, and then I got that light there. So, so you got the bathtub. Everything looks good, you know. Everything looks good. I redid these countertops, you know. These countertops, it's all it is just paint. Like the countertops, the original color was some kind of funky, like some off-white looking color, right? And so I did some Googling online. I was gonna put all new countertops, but I didn't want to spend the money. Because you'd be looking at $2,000 or $3,000 for some countertops. I didn't want to do that. So I found there was a bunch of YouTube videos talking about resurfacing your countertops. And then it got some YouTube videos showing people painting their countertops. So all it is just layers of paint, and you just do like a funky pattern. You know, you get your brush and you just dab it. You get you some paint and just dab it, right? And you go back over it with some polyurethane. You get you some polyurethane or some lacquer or something like that that's very durable. I don't know how many coats. I put about 5, 6 coats of polyurethane, because when you buy the can of polyurethane, it comes in a little pint can. It's enough for you to do about 3, 4, 5 coats. And once you do that, you got a very durable countertop that can withstand, like, you know, you can put a hot pan on it. So that's what I did. And I painted the countertops. I mean, I painted the cabinets. So it's just paint. They look good, don't it? Cabinets look good. The original cabinet color was just like this wood, natural wood looking color. It's outdated looking, you know what I mean? So the kitchen looks good, you know? So that's what we got, you know? So, you know, that's what we got. I'm gonna clean this place up, run the broom through here and get a wet rag and clean the place up, then we'll be ready for the next tenant. That's how we doing, making this money. Missed the beginning. Why did they get evicted? For not paying the rent. The lady wasn't paying the rent. Now I get it. She probably lost her job or she wasn't able to get a job. But that's cool. But I gave her so many opportunities to vacate the property. Okay. When she moved in, I think she paid like 2 or 3 months rent back in like April. In like April, she was having issues. She was a month late in April. And so I called her up because she didn't call me and tell me, hey, Mr. Fofo, I'm sorry I'm late on the rent. Can I? She didn't do that. I had to call her. So I called her. I was like, hey, Mrs. I don't want to use a real name on you, Miss Tenant. What's going on? You haven't paid your rent. She's like, oh yeah, I'm having some tough time, whatever. I was like, well, the month of March you were having a tough time. So, I mean, is there something I can do to help you? Or you think maybe I can help you find a new place or something like that? Because the rent is due on the 1st. The rent is $900 a month. And so she was like, well, can I pay you some of the rent and stuff like that? So I took some of it. I think I took like $300-400. Okay. Come May came. She was late again, and I don't even think she paid $200 on the rent or something. So I was like, Miss Tennant, I strongly suggest you looking for another place, finding another place where you can afford the rent, because we signed the lease. You have a lease. We have a lease between us, and the rent is $900 a month. So I can't continue to take less than what the rent is due. So she's like, oh no, I don't want to move, and da 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 da. I like staying here. I'm gonna pay you the rent, and I'm gonna pay all the back fees. Sure, okay. Come May, she didn't pay nothing. It was like all the way in like May 20th, May 28th, she paid like $300 on the rent. I was like, man, I can't do this. So at that point, I went down to the court and I filed for a judgment. And the way that they do it here, it's a 2-step process. So once you file for the eviction, they have to serve the tenant. They put a notice on your door and they serve you. Okay, they serve you, and then they have 7 to 10 days to respond to that notice. And then once they respond, they get a court date, and then you go in front of the judge to argue the fact of whether whatever. And if they can't meet those terms, then you have the opportunity to file for what is called a writ of possession. A writ of possession is basically legally telling the court you're looking to take back possession of the property. According to the law, once you rent out a property and have a lease between a tenant, the property in a sense belongs to that tenant in a way. They're habitating the property. You can't just come and knock on the door and say, hey, get out of my property. No, you have to go through the legal process of legally evicting that tenant. And so it's called a writ of possession. And so once you do that, you have to go to the sheriff's office and file for a writ of possession. And then they got 7 to 10 more days to go through that process. And then you get a date and time for the sheriff to come, which is yesterday. And then they physically evict the tenant. The sheriff comes, say, hey, you got to get out. Hey, you got to get out. And so that lady, she really thought I was playing. And it's my fault because what I kept doing was I kept throwing eviction in her face, right? And never falling through. And so typically when you talking to somebody, and I know it's really echoing here. It's echoey in here. So when you talking to somebody and you never falling through, I'm gonna evict you. I'm gonna evict you. I'm gonna evict you, right? Well, if you keep saying that and you never fall through, then they're not gonna believe you. So I wasn't really trying to scare the lady. I just wanted her to get the hell out because she wasn't paying the rent. And so I hope she's doing well. It's just I'm running the business here. I explained to her I can't let you stay there for free. I don't know what you want me to do. I can't afford to do that. I'm sorry. So I'm in business. I'm in business here. This is a business. I can't. This is my retirement plan. Okay. This is my retirement here. I can't let you do that. So I got to make money. So we got rid of her. And so, that's what that was. And the thing is, it's crazy because she waited to the last minute. Because I drove by here the day before. She had a U-Haul truck parked in front of the property. And I was like, oh, okay, she's moving out. I told her 2 weeks ago, because, the earliest date was 2 weeks ago. It's like, hey, Miss Tenant, we got a date from the sheriff to evict, to move forward. We got the writ of possession signed by the judge, and we're legally able to move forward with eviction. So the date of eviction is this date, which it was like 2 weeks out. And so she thought I was playing. And so the day of, we all pull up and everything. I'm looking, and like she just now starting to move the stuff into the truck. I'm like, you gonna wait till the last? Oh, like people think you be playing. I think she thought I was playing. She didn't think I was gonna really evict her because she's got kids. She got 2 kids. I feel really bad, but I can't. I'm running a business. I can't do that. So that's just what it is. Your boy Rich say, gotta go, no money, no stay, no problems. This is your problem. I need my money. But first, that's America, man. That's just what it is. America, that's just what it is. That's America, Maurice Anderson said it's your fault because she knew you were the owner. It's all good, man. It's growing pains. There's no fault involved because I knew I had a good chance of her getting into the situation because I don't want to tear her business, but her credit profile was bad. But I gave her a chance. I mean, I've given other tenants a chance, okay? And so, everybody's got like their issues. It's just in her situation, it just didn't work out. I've given other tenants a chance where, like this lady here, she had a 400 credit score. I knew I might be going into a problem of getting her to pay because she got a low credit score and her credit profile was messed up, man. She had all these judgments and all this stuff on her credit. Like she tore up for the flow up. Like I was like, but she had 2 kids. No, I think she had 3 kids. So she had kids and stuff. So I was just like, well, let me give her a chance, see what happens. I mean, because at the end of the day, I really don't need this money from this property. Like my rental properties, I need the money, but then if I don't get the money, I'm not pressed. I'm not stressed. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I can't let you live here. I can't afford to do that. This is a retirement. It's not something I can't afford for you to just live here, so I can't do that. But the thing is that the thing is that it's not. I'm not pressed. I'm not pressed. So I can afford to let this property sit here empty if I wanted to. I'm not pressed. So, because my other properties, I'm able to make enough money to where if this one sits empty, it don't matter. They're paid for. They're paid for. I pay cash for these properties, so I'm not pressed. But when it comes down to business, the business side of it is like, okay, I need to get my rate of return. And so when I'm looking at my numbers on the spreadsheet, rate of return, when I put money into something, I need to see a rate of return for the money that I put into it. So if I put in 50,000 into a property, I need to be getting 10, 15% rate of return, 20% rate of return. And so when a tenant is not paying me rent, I'm not getting my 10, 15, 20% rate of return. And so I need that $900 a month is like, off of 50,000, that's a 25, that's about 20% rate of return. Now that's gross. That's a 20% rate of return gross. Then once you factor in property insurance and property taxes and maintenance, it drops down to like 10, 11, 12%. But that's better than any mutual fund that I've seen. So you can find some mutual funds that pay you that, but see, with mutual funds, you don't get the money immediately. And see, this money here, this is passive money. And like, it's got a different tax bracket. And so passive money is you put that on the schedules. Passive money, passive money, you put that on a passive money goes on a Schedule E. And Schedule E income is taxed at a very low rate, like 1%, 2%. And so when you're talking about dividends, like dividend income from stocks and mutual funds and stuff like that, that income is taxed at a higher rate. Earned income is taxed at a higher rate, 20, 30%. And so when you start looking at these numbers, like when you're able to just buy an asset and then just make the money in your sleep, that's yeah. So that's what we're doing. Nah, man, don't be sorry, man. You can't, because people are grown. You can't be sorry, man. You don't be sorry. Because if you sitting up there being sorry for another grown person, I thought I heard somebody outside. If you sit up there and be sorry for another grown person, you're gonna go broke. Because there's a lot of sorry people out there to be sorry for. There's a lot of homeless people out there. There's a lot of hungry people out there. There's a lot of people out there can't get a job. It's a lot of stuff to be sorry for other people. And if you go around doing that, you got to take care of yourself first. You got to take number one first. This person here, you got to take care of you first. And then once you take care of you first, and you start making millions of dollars and stuff, then you can afford to go around helping people because you got enough money. I can't afford to be helping people. I just don't got it like that. So I helped that lady long as I could, because it gets to a point where somebody start using you and abusing the situation, and I just can't afford to do that, because at the end of the day, when somebody is living on your property, right, and they're not paying rent, something can go wrong and then they could sue you for it. But you get what I'm saying? And then you being the double, you all that compounds against you. Like, she can slip and fall on my property and she not paying rent. Like, something could happen to where the rate of return on that is like negative, because she's not paying rent, but then she slip and fall on my property, she can sue me, right? Or she can find something wrong with the property and be like, the roof cave in, so I'm gonna sue you, right? And then that'll be a claim on my insurance. So I mean, it Can you check on a new tenant if they have prior eviction, sir? I mean, the best I can do is check. I use a background check service. So I mean, I've been using it and it works pretty good, so it works. So it does a background check. It pulls back county records, your employment records. It does a credit check. I can look at your credit and everything. So it's just like running a trucking company. So like, when you hire drivers and you do a background check, it does the same thing. So it's just the same thing as hiring drivers. And so, um, so that's how you handle that. She tried to take your kindness. Yeah, probably. Why not have your wife or girlfriend as the property manager? Well, for one, my wife, she's got her own job. So she helps me a little bit, but you know, I mean, we work together on things. So I mean, it's not all her and all me. So, um, like so it's but I don't care. I mean, I really don't care. It's because I feel like nobody isn't gonna do this better than me, right? So um, I feel like nobody isn't gonna do this better than me. So I feel like if I get a property manager, like for the few properties that I have, the numbers don't make sense. And so like I know a lot of you guys will like get a property manager. Like, well, the numbers don't make sense. You guys have to run a business to understand what I'm saying. It's not just simple as get a property manager. But I run my business like a business. And so when I look at the numbers and I see, okay, if I'm receiving this much of money in rent, and if I'm gonna pay a property manager $1,500 to $2,000 a year to do nothing, basically, like that to me, that's not worth it. It's just not worth it. I don't have that many properties to justify that. It don't make sense to me to spend that kind of money to 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 basically collect rent and to show a property once a year. That don't make sense. And then, so if you start reading the contracts, a lot of these property management companies, once you start reading the contract, all that vocabulary inside the contract, once you start understanding what it is, you basically giving away your property. You giving it away on paper. Because they take full control over the property. All rent payments go through them first. They dictate maintenance and they have a fee schedule. So it's like they nickel and dime you to death. And so once you start looking at all that stuff, it's just like leasing on to a company. If you guys are truck drivers, it's just like leasing your truck on to a company. So if you leased on, right, and you made $5,000 a week, so you got this deduction, that deduction, this deduction, this deduction. It's just like, what are you deducting all this stuff out of my settlement for? It's the same thing. And so I totally disagree with, I feel that I can do it better as an independent than, with the few properties that I have. It don't make sense. It's just business. It's just the numbers don't make sense to me. And so I have no problem showing my property. I have no problem doing a background check. I have no problem getting a landscaper, calling up a handy guy. I have handy guys in my phone that I can call and say, hey man, can you go over there to that property? The toilet backed up. I have no problem doing that. Because to me, to pay a handy guy 150 bucks, 200 bucks to go buy a property or unclog a toilet, I think I'm doing that better than a property manager would, because they're gonna nickel and dime you. Because a lot of these property management companies, they have a service fee just for the phone call to do a maintenance issue, a backed up toilet, or to show a property. They charge you 50 bucks, 100 bucks, right? On top of the actual work that they're doing. That don't make sense. And then once you start calculating all these fees, you ain't making no money. You're not making no money. They're eating all your profit. They making money, but you not. Just like leasing your truck onto a company. The Snyders, the Swifts. When you start looking at your settlement, like, damn, you ain't made no money. Everybody else making money but you. So you got to keep these companies out. You got to stay 100% independent as possible until you grow to such a size where it makes sense. This is my opinion. I enjoy being independent. I don't mind being hands-on a little bit because I know when I get the money that comes to my checking account, it's all mine. It's all mine. So I can grab the money, do what I need to do with it, and move on. To me, that's better. I like having my authority. I enjoy having my authority. So a lot of guys be like, man, what's the point of having your authority? Because I get all the money. I get all the money. I don't have nobody in my pocket. I don't got nobody in my pocket stealing your money. It's the same thing. So, right. I'm trying to tell him, Will and Parker, you got some guys, no, sir, put a new tenant in there. Don't take that L for long. Get your money back and keep pushing. That's how you do it, man. Because I'm probably going to lose maybe a month and a half worth of rent. That ain't nothing. Like I said, I ain't pressed because the properties are paid for. I mean, 1 month rent, that, I write that off of my taxes. Matter of fact, lost rent, I'll write that off. Because in this situation, I get to keep the deposit, right? So I get to keep the deposit. So it feels good when you got the law on your side and you get rid of that tenant, get a new one in there. You keep it moving because you keep the deposit, and like it's almost like you didn't lose anything. So it's kind of, is all good. Folks, get that thing cleaned up and have that add up. You might have a new tenant by Monday. That's what I said. Milkman said, how old is that house? I think it was built in 1989. Something like that. It was built in 1989. Something like that. 1989. If I look at the deed and stuff like that, ROI, return on investment. That's right, man. That's what I told him. But anybody who knows about Section 8, it takes a real long time to get on Section 8. So I have Section 8 people in my family, and it took them a long time to get on Section 8. You're looking at 10 years, 5 to 10 years to get your voucher. It takes a very long time to get on it. Jeff said, is it big enough for my next trucking terminal? Yeah, Jeff, I don't think you can fit a truck in here. No, I don't think you can fit a truck in here. Oh, for what? For real, big push? Come on down here. It's a too bad, man. Shoot. How do you calculate ROI? How do you calculate ROI? Find one for 40K in my city. That's right. Those are the ones to go for. Very low maintenance. They're rent friendly, because if you buy a single family home, you got more stuff to take care of, and it don't justify, the rent doesn't justify it. You know what I mean? So you just got more stuff to take care of. A single family home, you got a bigger yard, you got all this stuff to worry about. The more roof, more stuff. And like you can find a condo and get the same amount of rent with HOA fees and like rent them for just as much as a single family home. So, you know, I'm gonna answer this question, then I'm gonna get off here. You add another truck to your fleet? Good, man, shoot. Eventually you're gonna be out the truck. But how do you calculate ROI? ROI is calculated by get like a mortgage or you use cash. But if you use cash, it's this term that's called, cash on cash, my real estate vocabulary is losing me. But cash on cash return, right? So I like to use cash on cash because cash on cash tells me my real rate of return. It tells me like everything. And so essentially you approach the deal and you look at the property. Say the property is 50,000. I'm gonna use 50,000 because it's a round number and I can easily calculate it. So 50,000, you look at the property and you say, okay, if the property is 50,000 and I look at, okay, I basically take the rent and I divide that by 50,000, and that basically gives me my numbers. So I go 50,000. All right, y'all left because the number dropped down. So my rate of return is somewhere around 25%, because my gross rate of return is 55%, because you do 50,000 divided by 900 a month rent. This is a yearly rate of return. So you divide that rent by, so that's gonna give you your gross. Now, once you minus your expenses, the rate goes down. So after expenses and everything, I'm making about 600, So you do, to get the rate of return, you do, you get your monthly rent, you multiply that by 12. And then you do, you get your expenses. So on this property, 900 times 12 is $10,000, about $10,000. Let's use 10, about $10,000 gross, right? Then you're gonna have expenses. You got property taxes, insurance, and all that stuff. So on this property, I pay about $600 a year for insurance. $600 a year for insurance. Property taxes about $1,000. So I'm gonna have $1,600 expenses. I gotta pay for garbage pickup. Garbage pickup is $15 a month. So 15, that's another $150. About, I say $160 a year for garbage pickup. So that's gonna be 10,000 minus the 1,000. What is that? Six. Let's say about $2,000 in expenses. So you're gonna net after expenses by $8,000 a year for $8,000 a year for income for the one property. So then you take that 50,000 and you divide that by 8,000, and then the number, I think I'm making about, on this property, I'm making about 16-17% rate of return after expenses, something like that. So it's about, to make $8,000 a year off 50,000 ain't too bad. So right now I'm sitting at a loss because I had to pay for the eviction, I had to pay for court costs and stuff like that. And so it ain't a bunch of money, but it's money that had to be spent. That's, so it is what it is. So, but even still, you're looking at anywhere from 15 to 20% rate of return. I like to use cash on cash because it's the real cash that came out of my pocket that I use to do the situation. Now, if you get a loan, like a mortgage or something like that, if you get a loan or a mortgage, then the number will be a little bit different. So then you just got to factor in the debt services. So when you factor in the debt services, your rate of return is going to go down. Like when you use debt, the thing is, when you use debt, you don't use none of your own money. So you're just using debt. So with that, say instead of buying the property 50,000 of your own cash, you keep your cash and you go and borrow the 50,000, right? And buy the property. Okay, so when you use the bank's money, not your own money, you keep your 50,000 in the bank, and then you use the bank money, and so you just got to factor in. Okay, you use the same situation, but then you just minus the bank the debt services. So say on 50,000, the payment is $500 a month. Well, the rent is $900 a month, minus the insurance, minus all that stuff. And so you might make $300 a month. To make $300 a month is pretty good when you didn't use none of your own cash, right? So, so the rate of return on zero down is good. I mean, it's a little bit of money, but if you look at the numbers, that's why a lot of investors out here, they're using debt to buy real estate. I don't like using debt. Me personally, I really don't like using debt on real estate, because if something happens, the bank takes the property. All that work and sweat equity that you did, and dealing with tenants and fixing the property up, dealing with contractors, all that stuff goes out the window. And so as soon as you can't make that payment, you know, that mortgage, that 15-year mortgage that you got, you slip and fall or something like that, and you can't make that payment, or a tenant move out or something like that, you got to cough up that money. So I feel better just paying cash for the property. It's done, it's mine. And so I think as a long-term outlook, you're in a better position. Yeah, you using a lot of your cash. Yeah, you using a lot of your cash, but long-term, it's just a better position to be in when you have paid for real estate. When it comes to trucks, I don't agree with paying cash for trucks. That's to me, because trucks depreciate. Okay, say you go buy a truck for 40,000. Soon as you drive off the lot, you just threw away 10,000. You couldn't even sell that truck for the same 40 that you bought it for if you wanted to. And so that's why I totally disagree with telling guys to pay cash for trucks. I mean, you know, guys be like, pay cash. No. The only thing on this planet I recommend paying cash for is real estate. That's the only thing. Because I know with real estate, I can pay for it, and it's always dirt. It's dirt in a building. You can always get some use out of it. A truck, it's going to depreciate. It's going to break down. I don't like that idea. But hey, to each his own. You know, I know some guys, they love to have. I know guys, they love to have their whole life savings tied up in a truck. They go out there and spend $50,000 cash on a truck, just their whole life. But hey, I gave y'all an hour video today. I think it was pretty good. Gave y'all an hour today, but I got to get this property taken care of. But hey, I appreciate y'all watching the videos. I see y'all next.